Hello and welcome back to Talking Wanderers. My name is Neil Bonner and today we'll be talking about Fabrice Muamba. I'll be talking with Gordon Sharrock, who was at the training ground with Kevin Davies on Monday, and with Mark Isles, the Wanderers correspondent, who was at White Hart Lane on Saturday. Well, Gordon, there are times when football doesn't matter at all, aren't there? And this definitely was one of them.
Of course. What went on in the first 41 minutes at White Hart Lane on Saturday matters not one jot. Everything since then has all been about Fabrice Muamba, and the hoping and praying that he was going to pull through, which as it stands now, we've had some good news on a daily basis, it looks like the guy's strength is and the strength of everybody willing him to pull through is working.
You were at Exton on Monday with the club captain. Such a difficult situation for him and the players and everybody, isn't it? What could that have been like? It
was difficult, and there was a sombre atmosphere there, where people who didn't have to come in. It was optional, and they chose to come in. I think they needed each other. I think they needed the majority of them anyway. But I thought Kevin Davies was outstanding in the way that he dealt with the round of interviews that he agreed to do. And clearly, he didn't want to be doing it. But he spoke very, very well, and I think he summed up the mood in the camp and his own personal feelings most eloquently.
And Mark, you were at White Hart Lane on Saturday, witnessing everything that happened there. What was it like?
It's not something I particularly want to relive, to be honest, Neil. He spent most of the week kind of trying to get that to the back of my mind, because it wasn't something I ever thought I would see on a football field, and it really wasn't very nice for anybody. I mean, it was such a public arena for something like that to happen. I'm certainly not alone in that, because there were 30,000 people in the crowd. There were 1 million people watching on ESPN, and then God knows how many in all the pubs and the clubs and everything else. You get a feeling for just how big the game really is there. But it was just chilling, and it still brings a chill to me when I think about the faces and the events. One thing that from being there and seeing it live that does really shine through, though, is how quickly, how professionally, and how brilliantly it was managed on the field of play in front of me, and that will always stay with me. And all the bad stuff was there, yes, but my word, it was handled well.
And you went to the hospital, and they did an amazing job there as well, and continue to do so as we speak today on Wednesday lunchtime.
Yeah, I mean, geography played its part in the whole thing. I think the fact is that the London Heart Hospital was 10 minutes in ambulance. It took us about half an hour to get across London to Bethnal Green, but there couldn't be a better facility for him to have landed at. It's 24-hour care. It's absolutely specialist. As we now know, one of the workers from the hospital came in from the stands. He's a Spurs season ticket holder. So he was able to direct operations once they got to the hospital on the pitch. People like Jonathan Tobin and Andy Mitchell and all the St John's ambulance, the paramedics were absolutely outstanding. And I think also a special congratulations, if that's the right word, should go to Howard Webb, because the way that he got everybody out of the way so that the medical team could do their bit, and he kept everybody in check, made all the right decisions. He really does deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah. When he needed a leader, he was there, and he handled everything absolutely superbly, didn't he?
Hey, we've seen that all week, haven't we?
Yeah.
On the night, absolutely perfect. It all fell into place. Since then, as Gordon's touched on there, people like Kevin Davies, Phil Gartside, Owen Coyle, they've been there when the club needed them, and that won't be forgotten, I don't think.
And Gordon, we've got a picture on our website of Lionel Messi saying pray for Muamba, and there've been one player after another, Cristiano Ronaldo, throughout the country and throughout the world. I mean, it just shows that the football family gets a big a lot of criticism, doesn't it? But with something like this, it's brought them together, hasn't it?
Undoubtedly, and I mean, I've got to say, I mean, I hate to use the word unprecedented, but I don't think I've ever known anything quite like this. The way that this has touched the entire footballing world. You know, tragedies like this that happened on Saturday are few and far between, thank God. But the way that the messages of support have come from the unlikeliest of sources, whether from the you know, from the top at FIFA to the most humble fan, and in between there, some of the greatest players and the greatest clubs in the world have all given their support and offered their support, moral support, which it can only be, but nevertheless it's there, and I think if faith can move mountains, etc., as they say, that sort of support has helped.
Yeah. And Mark, when you think that there was talk of not playing this cup game, it just shows how deeply it's run, doesn't it, really? I know that the cup game is going to be played again now, but it just tell us about that.
I think, if you'd asked anybody on Sunday, I think everybody would have agreed with the circumstances, not playing the cup game would have been the right decision. I think now that we've seen some improvements, and God willing that will continue to be the case, there's still a season out there, and Fabrice Muamba would want Bolton now to go out there to win the games, to be as professional as they can be, and make sure that they've got a Premier League club for them to go back to.
Okay, thanks very much. Cheers. Well, thank you for joining us at Talking Wanderers, and please join us again next week when we'll be talking about this weekend's game against Blackburn Rovers.